Dave, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, perfect. We switched computers. I just wanted to make sure you could still hear us.
Yeah.
I assume this is you. This is Glenn Hall.
All right.
Check my email real quick.
Do you change their name? Commissioner?
Yeah. Did you check your audio? Anne Marie, can you unmute yourself and check your audio, please? Anne Marie, are you there?
I think that's
Oh, I hear you.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a new microphone.
You sound very clear.
Good.
Yeah. Kendall, you're there? Hi.
Hi, I am here.
Great, thanks.
Laura, did you get the millions of emails I just sent you?
I did. I think I got all of them. That's a lot.
Yeah, I realized as I went back that I had gotten more than I thought. So my apologies. I was going to
No
collect
worries.
them all and put them in a folder for everybody, but this has just been a crazy couple of weeks. I've just got to say.
Yeah. Oh, there's Sarah. Hey, and Sarah just joined. Sarah, can you check your audio, please?
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Okay, so we have everybody here. We are live streaming, so we are ready to get started. And just a note for everybody that we only have about a half an hour because once Sarah leaves, turns out we won't have a quorum anymore. So got to get through the important business.
You know what? I just realized since it's Zoom, I can just take my phone
I
in
can't
the
hear
car.
anyone. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
Yeah, we can hear you, Pamela.
Oh,
Laura,
Yes.
I actually can stay on until 2:45 because I can just take
Okay.
my phone in the car and we can continue.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave and I'm going to try again.
Did she go away? Oh, yeah, she's rejoining. Pamela, can you hear us? You're on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
My audio. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I couldn't
Oh,
hear
wait.
you before, so I had to get out and come back in.
Okay, and Sarah just had to do the same thing, it looks like. Let me get her back in here.
All right. And once she's in, we can start, right?
Correct.
Okay. Do you want to tell everyone at the outset about our time constraint, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I think I did that while you were going out and in again.
Okay, perfect.
So, and Sarah said that she could stay till about 2:45.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a little bit more time. Sarah, are you back on now?
Yes, yeah, I don't know what
Okay.
happened.
All right, well, we are ready to go.
All right. Okay. The Monday, February 22nd, 2021 regular meeting of the Cherry Hills Village Art Commission will now come to order at, I guess, what time is it? 2:05, 2:06, 2:03. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Co-Chair Schmidt,
Here.
Co-Chair Hall,
Hall, here.
Commissioner Fingers absent, Commissioner Morrow,
Here,
Commissioner Smith, is absent, Commissioner Anderson.
Here,
All right, so we have a quorum.
Okay. We now turn to our audience participation period during which the members of the public may address the commission. Do we have anyone joining
We
us?
do not.
Okay. All right. The next order of business is the consent agenda. That's approval of the minutes, right?
Correct.
Does anyone wish to remove anything from the consent agenda or have any corrections?
No.
No. Hearing none, may I have a motion? Motion to approve the minutes?
I move to accept them.
And a
I
second?
second.
Okay. So we approve, right?
So I'll just do a real quick roll call since.
Oh, that's
we're on
right. You have
Zoom.
to do the roll call.
Yep. Co-Chair Schmidt,
Yes.
Co-Chair Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Morrow,
Yes,
Commissioner Anderson.
yes,
So the minutes are approved.
Okay. So then we go on to unfinished business.
Yes.
Okay, so the first item is the John Mead Park permanent sculpture, and we just had a beautiful walk around the park. Boy, the weather was sure perfect for that. So thanks for setting that up, Laura.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you guys could make it.
Yeah. I know last time we talked about the sculpture versus the permanent sculpture versus the sculpture on loan. So I don't know. My understanding from the last time is that that the permanent sculpture is a longer term project, and the sculpture on loan is something we can still do in the short term. Is that what everyone understood from the last meeting?
yes.
yes, yeah.
I think that was my understanding.
So Kendall, I don't know, should we talk now about some of the options for the permanent sculpture, or?
So Laura, what's the status of the John Mead sculpture? Wasn't there some funding that was maybe available for it?
Oh, the Cherry Hills Land Preserve, we were maybe going to coordinate with them on funding. I did send an email to I'm not sure if she's the executive director or what place she holds, but Kathy Fessler, a couple of weeks ago, and called her again late last week. I haven't heard back, which I think the commission might want to take as just an indication that they haven't been able to reprioritize that in their funding for this year. They had to take it off last year because of COVID and the lack of fundraising opportunities.
Right.
So we might want to proceed, assuming that we don't have that.
And so is there any funding set aside by this group? I can't remember. I think that we were going to wait until fundraising in the fall, maybe, or what? I can't remember exactly what was decided.
And I believe that's what they're talking about today. We have in our budget some expenses for the permanent sculpture. We have about $30,000, and then some miscellaneous for lighting and video. But if they do that, they can't do sculpture on loan. So it's one or the other for
Got it. That's what I
2021.
remember, that it was
Yeah.
a one or the other sort of thing, and you guys decided you wanted to do the sculpture on loan since the Salgi piece is going away this summer.
Right.
Okay. So with that in mind, we just did a tour, and I think it's a good exercise regardless for you guys to think about what you want to use, or if you want to fundraise in the fall, or how you want to use your funds for that. It's really an interesting park, and something to keep in the back of your head for sure. So I don't have any sense of what you want to spend. I think when we thought we had 30,000, that'll buy a fairly significant sculpture for sure. So it won't be humongous. It won't be world class. It won't be a Deborah Butterfield as we know, but it would be something that might get you a really nice stone or bronze piece that is on the the scale that's appropriate for a pedestrian. So just something to think about in the future for that area.
Yeah, I'm wondering, since we just did the tour, plus in the packet, we have some artists that you suggested, and also the ones that we've had in the past, if it might not be a good exercise for everybody to maybe come up with their top 3 or something like that, just to sort of whittle it down, because right now we have these 2 separate lists, and I think it's a lot to think about.
Yeah, we could do that. Or once you guys have made decisions on the maybe we would go backwards. Like you could table the discussion about the permanent piece for now until further
What the loan
kind of
is.
funding you have. I think that'll really I think that once you have funding, that'll beget a certain kind of conversation about what you can afford and what types of how you want to direct the funds. If you have $30,000 set aside for the loan pieces, then I think you all need to decide on a piece for sure to go where the Salgi piece will be leaving, and then possibly a piece to go where the old Searles piece was too. So you have, if 30,000 is in play, you do have the ability to do maybe 2 pieces on loan, or stagger it. I don't know. You guys can start that discussion for sure. I did send some images to Laura just now with some possibilities, but
If you want me to bring up any in particular on the screen, let me know.
Okay, well, I know that one of the things that was discussed at length last time was a piece by probably, if you're interested, there are a few pieces by Robert Mangold that would be pieces that are available for a temporary exhibit. So maybe you can bring up the Mangold pieces.
Okay.
So as I mentioned during the tour, Robert, I think is coming close to his 90s, and he has significant memory loss. Peggy does most of the talking for him, his wife, and I've known Bob since 2006. We were trying to get a piece of his sculpture, and David, maybe you can speak a little bit even more to Bob, since he was one of your professors, but he's just a Denver icon.
Yes. I've known him since 1960. So
yeah, I mean, he's been working. He's been a sculpture professor, and just a really, really important sculptor here in Denver for a very, very long time. and he's been married to Peggy
Yep.
through that whole thing. She is
Yes.
his best salesperson, provider, and marketing guru. I mean, the two of them are a bonded pair for sure.
Yeah.
She's a huge advocate of his work. So I think in their older age, Revan Swanson, I don't know if any of you know Revan. She's an artist out of Denver, kind of Denver Boulder area. Revan and I have worked on a couple of projects. She's also a public artist, and I have some of her sculptures that are available as well. But Revan has been kind of managing Robert Mangold's collection and helping him install. She does all of his installations. So she went out and gathered pictures of what was available. He said the piece that's out in front of his house, if you guys want to drive past his house on High Street, you can go check that one out too. That one would also be available. So I think she did take a picture of it. So Laura, if you can kind of just go through this. This is one of his animotive pieces from the 80s. These are spectacular pieces. We had one in, it's like at a playground down in downtown Denver. And then these are his, the acronym just eludes me. So I'd have to, but these are his later pieces that he's been working on, and they're really amazing too. Very minimalist. So these are some of the scales. So this is at the Arvada Center. They're doing a retrospective. They're doing actually a retrospective at the Museum of Outdoor Art as well. So there's a piece I think that might be available through MOA. So these are all interior pieces, but I don't know that we want to do an interior piece, but man, they're neat. They're really cool.
I think that one of those kinetic ones like this would do well in front of where Really is now. I think that would be a great location, since I know we've had comments that Really was kind of hard to see.
Yeah, he matches the building.
yeah. Where something like this would be, I think, outstanding. But
I really applaud this one.
This one, I love it too. I just think it would be a breath of fresh air for. I don't know how tall this one is, and it may be installed somewhere. So I'd need to do a little more research if this is the one that you guys are interested in. But I think it would be an amazing choice.
The kids would sure love it, I think.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What is his pricing, Kendall?
What's that?
What are his prices, or what?
I told Revan that we are poised to offer $10,000 for a 2-year rental, which is what we've paid all the other artists. So I think that we could probably do it. And I have a feeling, depending on the plate that this is on, we might be able to use the platform on which Wayne's piece already is, and do threaded bolts. I'd have to get Revan to come and look at it and do a little search on it. But yeah, I think that we could definitely figure out a way to put that in the same location as Wayne's piece.
Are there other pieces of this character by him?
This is the only kinetic piece left that isn't installed. There was one available that was on the 16th Street Mall for a while, and it has been moved to Mexico City, unfortunately. So yeah, these are some of his older pieces. So
yeah, a very typical example, though.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it too.
Kendall, what's the movement on this? There's movement, right, on this piece?
Correct.
Is it twirling or
like a twirl? Yeah, like a whirligig almost.
Okay.
It's those little cups are welded and they catch the air. We could make sure that it's well greased up and stuff. He loved doing kinetic pieces in his early days.
Yeah, love that.
And I just wanted to mention, for historical benefit, Revan Swanson was one of our very first sculpture on loan artists. So the city did have one of her sculptures at Happy Canyon and Quincy many years ago. There were flying cranes, 3.
Oh, I love those.
I do for that.
Well, and she has some sculptures available too. I told her to send me any of her available sculptures. So you might put those up just
Sure.
just in case. I just wanted to note to you all that we've had 2 sculptures already, and they were both white men. And you know, if you want to have a little diversity, maybe you might consider for the other location one of Revan's pieces. So this is Revan's. These are aspen trees.
Fabulous.
Yeah, she does really neat work.
I loved her cranes. Oh, I
Yeah.
love this. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Ah,
And then this is a piece, I think that is metal, but she does work in glass as well. This one's really neat too. It's called Hanging in the Balance or something like that.
Yeah.
Very whimsical. She did a glass piece for me in Commerce City. And I have to say, you know, sometimes artists knock things out of the ballpark, and she really did on this. It's a suspended piece that has these they're slumped glass birds, and in the name of the rec center where she built it is called Eagle Point. So there's all different kinds of birds from the arsenal nearby, and then she made sort of kinetic, they're, for lack of a better word, they're like bird balls. She has them on these sort of frameworks where they kind of spin, and they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful in this setting. And I became a big fan of her work while working with her. She's very pleasant to work with, which is
She could be very good for John Mead Park.
exactly. So you might want to consider something that is colorful also for John Mead. I mean, these are all things that you know, Revan commissions artwork all the time. So it would be a one-of-a-kind piece if you wanted. These are all her pieces that she has available for loan.
I like them.
I love the aspens. I love that one.
that's very nice.
And I love that first one.
That one?
Yeah.
No, Mangold's first one that you showed.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, the kinetic mangold. Yeah, that would be such a neat homage to him too. You know, he's
Right.
got that other piece that we're trying to get permanently into the collection. So Peggy thinks that piece was donated by Noe Congdon. Noe and what was her husband's name? The Congdons to the Quincy farm long ago. It was one of their personal pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I can do with your guidance, I can look into basically getting Revan to find out the details on this particular piece, the animotive kinetic piece, get some specs on it, and have her maybe come meet me at the site to see if it could be installed at that site, and just find out details and see if he'll accept the 10,000. I didn't actually speak with Peggy and Robert about exactly what, because basically Revan's doing it on their account, so I could have Revan check into that for them, and then if you're interested, we could proceed with trying to get this in time for the summer when the Wayne Salge piece comes down.
Could we see more of her pieces also?
Sure, I'll see. I know that she sent these because she's got those available. I can send you some more of her. I can actually just send you her website so you can look at her pieces. She would be a great person to commission a piece from if that's the way you wanted to go as well.
So Kendall, do you see this kinetic piece also working where the Searles piece was? If it doesn't work
yeah, this would work where the Searles piece is for sure. I think we'd have to find out how tall it is. I want to make sure that it's not going to be in place that will be messed with, because I need to figure out how big a tower this is. Because people do try to
lots of kids
around. Yeah.
Lots of traffic, foot traffic.
I think it'd be better across. where relay is, but
Yeah.
it gets kind of hidden over in the other area.
Yeah, I think that if you were to do one of the mangled pieces in the Searles area on that corner, one of the bigger pieces that are more the jagged lightning bolt type pieces might be more more appropriate and hold that corner a little better, just because I know that they're quite large. I mean, that's 20 feet. And
Yeah.
I think this might be the piece that's in his front yard.
I like it.
Yeah, they're neat pieces. So
Yep.
so tell me what you want and I can find out more information. I don't know that we need to make any kind of
I would suggest to check on this one. The one
Okay.
that's on the screen now. The
Me
kinetic
too.
one.
Yeah.
I like it too. Yeah.
I think
Let's
it'd be,
focus on this one.
it's something that's very, very different than we've ever done before. And
Very
I
crowd
really
pleasing.
do like the idea of the movement there.
And it'll pop for sure.
It will.
Sure. Against that dark background of the building.
And I think the kids will enjoy it being right across from the elementary school.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That'd
Great.
be awesome.
Okay, I will work with Revan to find out more about this, and then in doing that, I'll try to meet with her and see what other sculptures she might have available. Because if you want, however you want to spend your money, you let me know. So, but it sounds like this is definitely a priority for the location for where Salgi will be leaving, and then we can kind of slowly work through the other locations, John Mead and maybe the corner across where the Searles used to be a little bit later. So
It'd be nice to get the dimensions on this one so we could kind of put it in perspective.
yeah, and I can actually have Revan take a picture of the site and maybe Photoshop it in so we could get the scale correct.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. We could really see it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I was wondering if we could just talk a little bit about what our priorities are budget-wise, because if we were, it was sort of my understanding that we were just going to do one sculpture on loan piece and try and roll over the extra money for the permanent piece.
Right.
Because the more money we have for the permanent piece, obviously, the better.
Correct.
So I never thought we'd really discuss doing two sculpture on loan pieces, but what does everyone think about that?
I didn't either. It wasn't until I knew you guys would like Revan's pieces. I just kind of had a feeling. And
you could think of her for when the Mangold piece finishes too.
Correct. And she may have more available then. We don't know. I mean, she's she's a pretty young, evolving artist. So I'm beginning to think that that more artists locally are doing more for these art fairs and art exhibitions. It seems to be kind of a thing now to do these sculptures on loan. So it's nice for them to have more of a backlog of a log of
available
sculptures
pieces
that could be rotated. I think that we want to make sure that we're getting sculptures that are fairly new, so we're not getting everybody's sculptures that have already been seen in a bunch of other cities, because I want you guys to have the cream of the crop, right? So
right.
It's so much more enjoyable to have things on loan and change.
yeah,
Agree.
it's great. And you guys have a long enough term that, I mean, people will go, oh, wait, the Salgi's already gone? Wait, it was only there, but it's been there for almost 2 years, which is pretty amazing. So, I think it'll be great to be able to put that Mangold up, and then we'll look at other pieces maybe to switch out after, if you do it every other year or whatever, instead of every 2 years, because you've got those 2 locations. So,
Yeah. And Jessica, if we don't spend the money on the permanent sculpture, we can just ask them once again to roll it over?
That's correct. So it would be staff's recommendation that if we're not doing a permanent sculpture this year, to save the $10,000 that council gave us as additional funds and have me ask for that again during the 2022 budget process. So we shouldn't maybe take where it says permanent sculpture on your screen right now, we can change that to be sculpture on loan and put that at 10 or 20, whatever the commission thinks would be the most appropriate amount. And then just kind of plan that going forward and leave the extra $10,000 that the commission received to roll back into the fund and ask council for that again next year.
Yeah, why don't we see what Kendall finds out in terms of the cost of the mangle? Because if we could do that for 10 plus a small amount for installation and all that, then we would still have a nice chunk for the permanent piece.
That's right. And then if we get that for 10, Laura, if you can scroll down a little bit, we're pulling some money from your donation account already. If this is everything that the commission is doing, we're using an extra $9,000 from your art fund, the donation account. So if we get that for 10, then obviously we don't have to spend any money from the donation account.
Right.
That would be good.
That would be good. Yes, because our fundraising has been so handicapped,
Right.
kneecapped with COVID. So, and I guess that we can flow into, well, that point about maybe, we can't, I assume we can't do our annual event. Does anyone think we can actually do that by the end of the summer?
Maybe not the end of the summer, maybe more towards November.
It's hard to plan anything right now, for
I
sure.
know. And it's so nice for that to be an outdoor event. So I kind of think if we're missing the window on the good weather, that we might have to rely on, well, I guess we have indoor space now at the town hall, or we could rely on our donation letter again. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's obviously up in the air. It'd be nice to be able to have something, but I'm not sure we will be.
Yeah.
We haven't officially canceled any of the fall events yet. I think PTRC has put a lot of their fall events on the back burner for August. So we're planning on holding our spring cleanup event in May. So we're still doing that. Obviously that's outdoors, so we can be socially distanced with that. But PTRC has not canceled car show or the winter celebration or anything like that. So as far as I know, they're still planning to, as tentatively as they can, move forward with those two events.
Yeah, because the Mangold piece too coming in would be such a nice opportunity to do something outdoors, even if it, wasn't just at the time it got installed, because like you guys said, he's such a Denver icon and, he's too old to speak, but maybe we could still do some presentation, because I'm sure there are plenty of people such as myself who didn't realize he was such an icon, and a lot of people are always moving into town, and it would be fun to learn about him as an artist.
Agreed. And there's a way that we could maybe I started a documentary on him back when I was at the city, and I wonder if I could borrow some of the interview footage that I had from that at the city of Denver. I that was when he was a little more lucid. But you could definitely create, we've been doing videos for the other sculptures. Maybe there's a way that we could do a little, informational thing on Mangold somehow. And we could use archival footage or archival photos or something like that, and just have it narrated.
Yeah, and I guess it depends what level we are here in Colorado, but wouldn't it be nice if we could do something outdoors?
Yeah.
Put up a movie screen and do the little video, and then walk around the front and have a look at it, and have a little reception and raise some money.
You could do it open park on that little grassy area.
Yeah, or in the patio too is nice.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of nice spots. But anyway, I guess that's just a thought as far as fundraising.
Yeah.
So is everyone more or less in agreement that we'll do the sculpture, try and do the sculpture on loan piece, and then save the balance for the permanent piece, and then see how it goes with the fundraising, if we can actually do an event maybe around the Mangold piece?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Sounds good.
A plan? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a couple questions that are aside. We received that list where all the possible art locations could be, and I drove around and took a look at all of them. What are we supposed to think about some of those other available places as far as artwork?
they're there, but they're, I don't know, they're kind of tight spots for sure. But yeah, we haven't done anything in those other areas, so.
Certainly, if I can just also, if the other mangle that is at the Quincy Farm comes back into your collection, you'll need to find a location for that piece.
That's true.
Yes,
So
and I did look a month ago or so, and I think there's probably a couple of areas, particularly the one over on Quincy and Clarkson, that might work for the the one that's at Quincy Farms now, if we get that.
Also, I was wondering, there's this buoy sculptures on Quincy and Dahlia, I believe. And they get so lost with all the mechanicals there. I'm wondering if they could be transferred to maybe be just kind of tossed along the side of a body of water, even if it's over by the, in the John Meade Park, because they have such a water connection with what they are.
The cruise series.
That's not a bad idea, really. Yeah, we could maybe look into that.
That would
those are
change
the
things
Emmett
up a little.
Colligan pieces.
I know that he doesn't want, yeah, he doesn't want anybody climbing on them, but I don't know who knows?
How to police
Yeah.
that, forget it.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I can certainly talk to Emmett and see if he'd be interested. I think, haven't those been relocated a couple different times?
Yeah.
Yes,
But if they were near a body of water, they'd take on more meaning for, could just
right.
be casually placed. They're just lost where they are.
Yeah, they are for sure.
And are they supposed to be buoys?
Well, it's cruise series, so I just kind of took it from sailing cruise or something like that. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
off.
It looks
That's what-
spaceshipy to me.
I think he's definitely more of an abstract. I don't know. I don't know where he's pulling the name from, but they definitely have a capsule, or yeah, who knows? Who knows?
And it gives me NASA vibes, but
He,
I think I like that idea. I think that's a great possibility because you're right. You can't see them where they're at now. And I would think he'd agree to that. There certainly would be more emphasis on his artwork.
Toss.
it's worth looking into. Would you want to look at locations that you'd have to find the location or work with Emmett to see where he wanted to locate them. But I mean, I
Sure.
can certainly contact him. I know he last time I spoke with him, he was a little frustrated because I think that those have been moved quite a few times.
Well, I think we could do better by him.
yeah, do you know if he's happy where they are?
That I don't know. I do. I don't know. And
Maybe you
and
could
I think-
approach it that way.
Well, I could just, I mean, if this group is interested in locating them somewhere in the John Meade Park, we can certainly try and look for locations there, which then, how many are there total in it? Is it 3?
3, yeah.
Even along one of the paths in John Meade Park, even if it was tucked back a little bit into some landscaping, they would be more visible more than they are right now.
Okay.
Although if he doesn't want kids to climb on them, that is going to
Yeah.
be a big temptation in the park.
Is that an absolute that he doesn't want children near them?
I haven't spoken to him about that. I can see.
All right.
I mean, ultimately, they belong to you, but I do think that living artists like to be consulted when their art is moved, and they just get really, really stingy about view planes and things like that. I hadn't heard about his being concerned about climbing on them, so that may have been why they were put where they are, because there's no chance of that there.
The other thing I noticed, and I wish we could get a handle on it, As I say, my husband tells me I'm in charge of minor matters, and you might believe him after this, but the public spaces that are available, Comcast and those people have just thrown metal boxes in them any which way they can. Can we
I
not,
agree.
as a city, have some control over where those metal boxes go? Because every nice public space we have for art has their share of those mechanical boxes.
We're very limited in what we can do as a city. A lot of those are federal regulations that we have to work around and allow. But I can have our Public Works director contact you about that. He knows more about that.
Well, notice when you drive around, they're just scattered everywhere.
Yeah, and not only when you drive around, but sadly, they're on a lot of our beautiful trails. And some of them are literally falling apart and they're dangerous. Like the metal covers have come off and there's twisted corners. And every time I look at them, I'm like, ugh. But they've been that way for all the years I've been here. So I assumed it was not easy to clean those up.
That's probably Excel energy, and if enough people complain about it, then they'll come and fix it. If there are electrical boxes or high voltage boxes, they need to take care of those. So you can get people to.
Well, I think we ought to make some noise, because the public spaces where we have for artwork, we're competing with several metal boxes. Even where really there's those several big boxes in that area, and they just seem to need to have somebody request that they give us some consideration before they place them. They're everywhere. I keep trying to think Cherry Hills has a rural feeling, but we lose it little by little by little.
Yeah.
Would it be helpful if we had our Public Works Director attend our next meeting and he can go over the parameters of what the city's allowed with those types of things?
I would appreciate it. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I just ask you to notice when you're driving around how really many there are in the nice places.
Okay, we'll ask him and we'll see if he can attend our next meeting, and then he's the one that works with Comcast and Excel to put those things in the right of way. So he can kind of go over what that process looks like and how much flexibility there is.
Thank you.
Great. And not to rush us, but I don't want to lose Sarah. Sarah, are you still there?
I am. Yes, I am, but I don't think I have enough time to go over everything.
Over the art show stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. I have a lot of questions and trying to get the parameters of what's involved. So I guess we'll have to put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, does that make sense, Dave? Everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Then maybe the last thing before we lose you, Sarah, is this is not on the, I guess this is new business, but it's really old business. We have a really nice little art directory that lists a lot of artists who are in town.
Okay.
It's on the website. And I was just wondering if I could ask everybody to have a quick look at it. I think one person I know who's on it, Janet Sachs, I'm pretty sure has either moved or is moving, sadly, because she's so wonderful. And then I know I reached out to Cora Wheeler Sexton because she's had a lot of articles in the magazines lately if she wanted to be included. And she said she would happy to be included. And I thought if anybody had any other people that they knew of that lived in town who might want to be included in our artist directory, that we might update that this spring.
Okay, sure. That sounds good. And where is the art directory located? Is it on the
It's on our website.
website?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, yeah, she's putting it up on the screen right now. That's what it looks like. And it's just got categories and just contact information.
Okay.
So if any of you all know any nice artists that are not yet on this, we could certainly, and they'd be interested. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, Gay's still on here. And Janet, I think, has moved. We'll have to just see. But
and I can send the link to everybody since we are missing a few commissioners at this meeting, just so everyone is on the same page for the next meeting.
Yeah, it's a nice resource for sure. Okay, what's next? So we just have to wrap up with the financials, don't we, while if we still can?
Yeah, and really that's just informational. So you guys can, as long as you're not making any decisions, you can you three can keep going if Sarah needs to leave.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I need to go pick up my kids, my middle schoolers now, at 3:00. This is Kendall, and but I think I understand my marching orders for next month, and that is to find out everything I can about the Mangold sculpture and see if I can get Revan to come down and get us an estimate for cost to install, and see if Bob would like to loan it to us for $10,000. So I will get all that done by next week.
And see more of
That's
her.
great. Thanks, Kendall.
Thank you.
And see, I'm sorry, Commissioner Morrow, you had a question?
See more of her piece.
Oh, and Revan too. Okay.
Yeah, she'll send us the link to her website. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm sorry I have to go. I'm kind of here, there, and everywhere. So
Yep.
nice
Thanks,
seeing you
Kendall.
all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Kendall.
Thank you, Kendall.
There is actually one other thing too. We're looking for a new commissioner.
Yes.
I thought of somebody that I knew, so I think she's going to put in her application today, she said. And I don't know if anyone else knows anyone else they want to recommend. But I guess the applications are due end of March, right? March 26th,
26th, I think, is their deadline.
Okay. So
Yes,
if
26.
you know anybody, certainly encourage them to apply. The person I contacted is Kristen Moore. She's one of the artists on our directory. She's also a successful interior designer and just a fun person. So I hope she does put in her application, and we'll see what we end up with.
Great.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Oh, Village Crier, right?
Yes, I think we had intended to put in any event information in the April issue, but if we don't have that yet, we can skip April and maybe put it in May, if that's something the commission would like to do.
Yeah, or maybe, I mean, I don't know if we'll have the artist directory, but we could also just put in a little something about that, reminding people that it exists.
Sure, we
Is that-
can send the link to the commission and then ask for everybody's changes prior to my deadline, and we can run the entire directory again.
I'm thinking that might be kind of fun because, they
Yeah.
do say that in COVID, everybody's focusing on their home. So maybe that would be a nice way to highlight some of the artists that live in our town and maybe
Sure.
bring them some business. Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay, we'll try
Great.
for that. Alrighty. Oh, hey Laura,
Yes.
I know you gave us the as an exhibit to the packet the art display policy.
Yes.
And on the back of it, there's terms and conditions. I just wanted to suggest a possible little wording change or a clarification. It's just in the no sales exception where it
Okay.
says, it says artwork may not be displayed for sale except where sales proceeds are donated to the city. I'm wondering, I don't want to scare any artists off, if we should maybe say where a portion of the sales proceeds. We're not expecting them to give us all. It's only 10%, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we should update that to agree with the other document.
It could either agree and say exactly what it is, or at a minimum, I thought we could also say a portion of, so it doesn't sound like we're expecting that they give it all to us.
Okay.
So either way is fine with me.
Okay. Good update. Thank you.
Sure. And otherwise, I guess we can just go over the finances. Is that what's left?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if there are no changes to the financial update, if we want to wait, I can leave the permanent sculpture line item placeholder in there, or I can change it. We can wait until Kendall comes back and I'll see if I get anything from her prior to the meeting, and then I can update that, or I can definitely update it for the next meeting, the meeting after.
Yeah,
Okay.
either or. That sounds fine to me. And I mean, there's other big question marks. Like we have like $5,200 for our annual event, right? And we just don't know
Right.
what we're going to be able to do. So there's kind of a lot of there's a lot of question marks in here at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll wait to see if I hear back from Kendall. If I don't, then I'll leave it the same. I mean, obviously I'll update the expenses that we incur in between now and then. But if I don't hear from her, then I will be sure to update it after our next meeting with Kendall.
Right, right. Oh, and just one quick question. The installation of the lighting near really, that's for 750. That hasn't been done yet. That's why it's still in here, right?
That is correct. They put in an outlet inside City Hall, but they haven't run the actual line to put in the lights. So we would have to purchase the lights and then the wiring and all of that. So our public works director estimated that at about $750. So it could be more, it could be less. That was just kind of his estimate. But no, they did not do that last year. So I put it in the 2021 budget for this year.
Okay, no, that's perfect. And I guess once we decide if we can get the mangold or whatever we end up doing there, then we can try and coordinate that so that the lighting gets put in when the next sculpture in time for the next sculpture would be fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. If we're planning on placing it over there and we want to coordinate it, then I can see if they can fit that in all at the same time.
Yeah, see if we can have the timing work out.
Can we consider very adjustable lighting for planning ahead for other sculptures? So what's in there is not just totally permanent, but something that can be adjusted or
So it can go up or down, higher or lower?
whatever the width of, or the demands of the particular sculpture might be.
Okay, I can talk to them about that and see what they can do.
Yeah, because when it's true that when they run the line out, maybe we can just make sure that we have some play with the amount that's there in case we wanted to add 2 lights instead of just 1 or something, that the wiring would be there at a minimum.
Okay.
And then we
Sure.
would just have to buy an extra fixture maybe if we had a different shape. That's a
Okay,
good idea, Anne Marie. Yeah, planning ahead.
Well, there are adjustable heads for lighting that you
Not
can,
for sure, but I mean, even having the wiring having a little extra wiring there, I think goes to your point that, be more flexible.
and I believe he envisioned what we have out by the Gusto piece. I will double check with that and see if maybe he can give me, send me a link or something where we can print a picture of what he had in his head and make sure that goes along with what the commission envisions as well.
Sounds good. Wonderful.
Yep.
All righty.
Okay.
What's my script? Let me go back to my script. Yes. Reports, village car, next meeting. Does anyone have anything further to report?
I'll report that our art appraiser is coming in tomorrow to get the contract signed and get started on that project. So she'll be doing that soon.
Wonderful. Great. Okay. So should I, yep. There being no further business, the meeting is adjourned.
thank you.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all.
All right.